Hey dreamers, hope you liked the starting part of the video, just something I cooked up for fun to see if I could sort of make an epic thriller with my current newbie editing skills. So with Wisp, the new Warframe around, many of you would want to start farming her as soon as you can. Today I'll be sharing with you the things you need to do to defeat the boss, which you'll be farming to get your Warframe parts. There are tutorials out there already. I'm just making my version, which I will walk you through everything step by step instead of just showing you how it's done. Another reason for making my version is because some guides that I found were made with very strong Warframe and weapons, which many newer players do not have, and will find it hard to do if they just follow those guides. Here I'm using a Mag Prime. It is modded to be a little bit more tanky with some health and shield mods, but other than that she is still pretty squishy to be honest. My weapon is the Supra Vandal, slightly better than the normal Supra with no special ribbons. It's just potatoed and I think formatted once maybe. Okay, so before you enter, it's good to make sure you are ready with full health and energy. Depending on your Warframe, you might not even need energy. I will actually be using Max Magnetize to clear the minions, but that's pretty much the only skill that I'll be using from her. The moment you enter, you will want to break the boss's shields. Just like fighting the Avalon, you will need to use your operator's gun or amp to break the shield. Once the shield is broken, you'll need to get to one out of 3 generators surrounding you by crossing some zip lines. On your way there, the boss will shoot some very damaging lasers at you. The safest way is to use your operator to travel towards the zip line in void mode. Once you are at the zip line, the boss will stop with the lasers and instead create electric arcs on the zip lines to try and stop you from reaching the generator. Make sure you do not get hit by those electric arcs, for it will knock you off the zip line. So with some simple timing, you just need to hop over those arcs and back to the zip line again, or straight to the generator if you can. Once you are there, the boss will start to shoot a different kind of powerful beam in which you would want to hide behind the generator so that the generator would react with the beam and become unstable. Right after that, you want to jump towards the boss and press your interact button to ride it. Now you won't be able to do this if you do not break the shields first. After the whole animation of you struggling to take control, you will be able to use your directional keys to direct the boss into the generator. The boss will fall back to the middle after hitting the generator and you will respawn at the middle too. But this time you can hurt his nodes, which are the box thingy at the back of his elbows. You will need to be careful as well, for this time the minions will start to spawn. I recommend taking care of all the minions first, especially if you need more time breaking those nodes. After breaking any one of those nodes, you will need to activate a panel south of the platform. It will then send a beam down to hurt the boss. Immediately after that, the boss will gain shields again and you will need to do what you just did from the start all over again, but this time with the other 2 generators. Now if you are really bad with your Mario skills, you can actually use the operator to get to the generator safely. The electric arc will not knock you down when your operator enters the void mode. This kind of makes me wonder if Limbo might actually be one of the best Warframes for this part. I guess something that could fly like Titania might also be good. I've never tried them, so let me know down in the comments if you did. Now one thing to note about modding your weapon, if you check out Ropalolyst, the name of this boss at a wiki, you will see the elemental weakness of the boss. Both robotic health and alloy armor are weak against radiation, which is why you should mod your weapon for radiation. This will help you break those nodes a lot easier. I actually use Max Magnetize to kill minions and also use the bubble as cover. During the phases where minions are summoned, the boss will release multiple missiles which is affected by Magnetize, so if you stand next to the bubble, chances are it will get pulled into it and not hit you. You also do not want to get too close to the boss during this part of the fight, because he could grab you with his hands and squeeze the HP juice out of your Warframe. Within the 3 phases of minions being summoned, the one to be careful is the clones at the second phase, which they could make an image of of you that could also use your abilities. In this round, I actually died once at this phase. Then at the third phase with minions, it will consist of Conclueless and Battleless, which has the ability to adapt to damage types. So you might want to mod your weapon to have multiple elements or have a secondary weapon that has different elements to your primary weapon. Max Magnetize kinda shines well with the third phase, fighting against these sentient minions. It could immobilize them and also increase your damage on them. When modding your weapon, you should focus more on DPS and not status, because the boss is immune to procs it seems, so it would be better to go for critical and elemental damage over status chance. Remember that the boss is a type of sentient, so fight it with weapons you use good for the Eidolon. There are actually other sequences that you can get this done as well. For example, you can cross all 3 different zip lines and lure the boss to hit all 3 generators first to make all the 3 generators unstable, then only break its shield and then ride it towards the generator over and over again. It could be faster, but I choose to do it this way for this video because it makes it much easier to understand. It took me about 6 minutes for this mission where I kinda died once and I was hanging out at the entrance using some energy pizza plates. I see some speedrunners takes way lesser by ignoring the minions and use fast frames to reach the boss faster. So it really depends on what you're capable of. Like for example, if you can take out the nodes fast enough to barely tank the minions, you could save time. Else, it's still safer to take out the minions first. I feel like this boss fight is important to learn how to solo because it could be a lot faster. Imagine trying to get the boss to hit the generator when the boss is chasing one of your teammates that doesn't know what he's doing, or trolls that rides the boss around not hitting the generator. With that, I think that is all I want to share. Remember, you can use the operators to stay safe from the lasers. You can actually also go void mode to dodge the missiles too if you want. You will need a relatively good weapon and mod it for radiation at least. And I think you should be able to pull this off with any frame at any MR. Unless it has a MR requirement, then any MR after that. If you guys like what I did at the beginning of this video, I have a whole playlist of troll Warframe videos like this as well at my channel under the Warframe troll category. They are all less than 1 minute clips. Hope you guys enjoy it, and for the love of God, subscribe. Bye bye.